announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. People are wondering who's going to be next. Don't call us, we'll call you. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We are back at Around the Mat Pod. It is season 3. We've been gone for 5 weeks. Man, a lot of things happen in those 5 weeks, and we're going to get to it. But before we do, if you're watching live on YouTube with us, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Helps us out. Comment. Let us know what your thoughts are as we're having the show. That's why we do it live. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, please hit that like and subscribe button or follow button, whatever it is on those apps. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. That's where we're most active, obviously, at AroundTheMatPod. I am at the PJ North, your host. And we're going to get into it, man. Let's catch up with the big homie, T.Y. Tyler Miller. What's good, baby?
PJ, what's going on, man? I'm glad to be back. It's a good weekend or good week to be back. There's a lot going on this weekend. Huge events coming up, and
so much wrestling.
Super excited for them, man.
So much. There's wrestling literally. There's always wrestling pretty much like 5 days a week. There is wrestling every day of the week right now. Like
big events too. It's
three
it's
times
just not
on
like
Saturday. Yeah, dude, it's nuts, right?
not just your weekly television either. So
I know,
I'm
it's crazy. I'm trying. You know what? One thing I didn't do before we got on, I didn't fix the scoreboard, but I got it there. We fixed it. I'm back. Obviously, it's a new season, which means new screens. You know what I'm saying? So I had to bring out
for life.
Yeah, dude, I had to break out the sold out one here. It kind of came to me as I was making some other things today. I was like, damn, this would actually be sick if we did this. And so little WCW NWO sold out theme here for season 3. We're going to get into it, man. Obviously a lot to talk about. I don't have any specific headlines, so I thought we'd just catch up wrestling. A few things, right? Obviously I got married and went to Italy. Let me tell you how hard it is to watch wrestling in Italy. It's not on Netflix. So when WWE and TKO say, oh, it's global, it is not in fact global because you can't access it in Italy. Which I thought was weird. So everything I was watching was a week delayed. And it was all Italian voiceover with, not only was it voiced over, but with the English in the background. So you could still hear the most common was like the LA Knight. The guy's voiceovering LA Knight doing a promo on SmackDown. And I was like, wait a second, what is happening right now? So that was kind of annoying. So I didn't watch any wrestling, man, honestly, for like 2 weeks, really. I came back to King of the Ring and Night of Champions. I did not win the pool, which was bullshit, but here we are. It was good. Otherwise, I just been getting caught up, man. Obviously, I had to get caught up on some stuff from that. What about you, man? What's going on in your world of wrestling in the last 4 weeks?
Just trying to, like you said, trying to keep up with everything. It's hard to do. We've had a lot of good events since we've talked together. Night of Champions, of course. The weekly television has been great, pretty good for the most part.
Yeah.
AEW, they're killing it leading up to All In. I think they're on a hot streak, as hot as they've ever been, kind of similar to how it was at the beginning, in my opinion.
Someone said it's the biggest All In since 21, or like that vibe of All In, All Out deal, like where we're at with that year, that part of the year. Someone said it's as big as 21.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. It's definitely got a different feel for it. The match card. There's some bangers on there. I thought they would have kind of shifted things in some different areas, but
yeah.
I'm definitely excited for the event this weekend. You got Goldberg, Gunther, that's been pretty exciting, leading up to that. Gunther, he's just continuing to kill it. And, every positive thing that you're hearing veterans say about him, and online, in the news, whatever, it's all true, and it's showing every week. And he's really kind of blossomed into one of my favorites as far as on the WWE side.
Yeah, man, I think Gunther is I just think he's like one of the better ones. I don't think he gets he kind of got the shit into the deal. Obviously, being a part of Jay's win's awesome, right? Then him getting it back I thought was kind of weird. And now being involved with Goldberg is super odd. Like, don't get me wrong, Gunther could probably get a good match out of a broom, right? I know there used to be that saying. But, like, I I get the classic act and I understand and all stuff. I just don't care. I was a Goldberg guy as a kid. Like, I liked the spear, but like at the same time, once he lost, I never cared again, if I'm being honest with you. I didn't care when he was in WWE. I didn't care any of the times he was in WWE, especially the most recent, right, with the Bray Wyatt. Like, I thought that was stupid. So, for me, I don't really get it, but I get that them doing it in Atlanta is cool. Do you well, obviously, we're going to do Saturday night's main event. We'll get to that. But do you think it's a good matchup for Gunther? Like, do you think it says a lot about him, like, as a performer, or is it just because he's on top right now they had to put him out there?
I think I don't know. I think the Goldberg rub isn't too special for anybody. Especially at this point.
Yeah, especially if you're Bret Hart.
Gunther's really shining through. It gives him a really credible opponent. And it also, gives him a good rivalry, a good feud, even though it has been kind of short-lived. It kind of started months ago with him talking trash to them in the crowd, and then it's been the past 2-3 weeks or so. But I think that most people, do you think, of course, the pick'em or whatever, I don't know who wins. It's for the title.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like we're just having a title match for no reason.
Yeah, and I mean, I could see maybe, I saw some stuff where some people were talking, if it wasn't a title match, it would be, it'd be interesting to see Goldberg squash Gunther and, to see how he would turn around from that. But if it's a title match, I definitely see, Gunther putting Goldberg down and obviously keeping it. Goldberg's not going to.
Here's my question. Gunther, Goldberg, we don't have to pick who's going to win, but how long do you think the match goes? Over, under 5 minutes? Over or under?
Oh man, that's
tough. From the bell. So not. I mean, obviously their entrances are going to take 6 hours, but
right. Yeah, no, I'd say they're probably going to try to shock us a little bit. I think Goldberg's going to want to try to prove a little something that, of course he's 58 years old and can still get in the ring.
What is there to prove?
Right. Yeah, no, I'm on the same page, but I do feel like, he wants that one last hoorah. And I do think that, maybe this would have probably been a better one for him than all the BS with Bray Wyatt a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, I think that's what we're gonna figure it out. And we'll talk more about that, like I said. Outside of the pay-per-views and everything, the PLEs happening this weekend, obviously one thing we're not going to talk about, we're not going to do a pick 'em, but NXT right now, they'll have Great American Bash. What are your thoughts on the TNA, NXT, and just NXT as a whole right now? Look, I've always said that NXT is the best of the WWE products consistently week to week. Right, I think I'm like they have good matches. It's interesting. Like it's kind of cornball acting, but they're also young and they're trying to figure it out. And it's new storylines and they're doing different stuff. I think that the TNA relationship with them is good, but at the same time, I really don't quite understand what the plan is there. Like why is Trick Williams the TNA? Like I don't know, man. And then they had the TNA president was on Ariel Helwani. I haven't listened to it, but like I saw some clips and I just don't quite understand. Like you can't live alone with the way that you're doing it now because all of your champions have been squashed. Not squashed necessarily, that's a bad word, but like all of your champions are not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, kind of made it look a little bit less than.
Yeah, and like I just don't understand how you think you're gonna. WWE has all like just to name off the shows that WWE has on TV to prove why you can't be another WWE entity. They have NXT, they have Evolve, they have LFG, they have Superstars on A&E, they have Raw, they have SmackDown, they have Main Event. Okay, that is 7 shows across channels, across multiple channels, right? You think that you're going to be an 8th and it's going to be a thing? Like, you can't compete as a shared entity, in my opinion, and get, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand. I really don't get the long game here with it. It's, don't get me wrong, it's put a lot of emphasis on TNA, which is, again, I'm a TNA guy. I watch TNA on YouTube all the time, all the old stuff. So I was a TNA guy, like, back in the day. I really enjoyed it. I don't necessarily enjoy the product now as it's presented as a WWE, but I'm not watching it actively every week. So I can't say that I don't hate it or anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying, like, it's going to be hard to present yourself as a top tier thing without being a separate entity. This can't go on much longer. You see what I'm saying? I also think that Joe Hendry, as we've talked about, like, look at Joe Hendry's, like, we've passed by him. Like, he's been passed over. He didn't pan out at all in WWE as, like, they thought it was going to, in my opinion. So I don't know. Like I said, I just think there's, like, what say you, man, about, obviously, NXT Great American Bash is this weekend. That's why I wanted to bring it up. But where are you at with NXT and NXT TNA and all that stuff?
Yeah. No, I agree with a lot of what you said. I do think for them, it's probably they're seeing the short-term gain in this. And really, it doesn't really seem like they have a long-term plan, or how do you, how do you make that separation when it does come time for that?
Sure.
And something else that's really kind of really just kind of weird for me is, like, they're letting these WWE guys go. And then they're winding up in TNA, and then that partnership. And
the
then
worst is they change their names, and then they expect us to forget that they existed. I am so confused by that.
Yeah, I agree, and that's something else that is just kind of weird for me. And it's like, do you? It's not. I guess it's not necessarily a punishment, but do you not let those guys that were ex WWE's guys get involved with the NXT, crossover?
That's the thing, is that they are.
Yeah,
right.
And it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I think it's such a weird thing. Not to cut you off, that's probably the weirdest part. Like, hey, let's bring back Dolph Ziggler as Nick Nemeth, bro. What?
Yeah,
y'all aren't. Don't get me wrong. I suspend my disbelief to a certain extent, right? It's wrestling, that's part of it. But, like, I'm not going to suspend that disbelief.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. And I think, it does get to a point where, that separation does have to happen. And, then at that point, we'll really see, if it did benefit them, or, if they, kind of fall back like they were, 5-10 years when the company was about to go under, and see if, they hit that roadblock again.
Dude, I think that's the thing that people don't realize is, like, how closely they've been sold, bought, sold, changed ownership, membership, all this stuff. And, like, they have outlet. It is the cockroach effect, right? Won't die, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And I feel like, dude, in a world of full of WWE, it doesn't hurt to try to stand. What AEW is doing. It doesn't hurt to try to stand out, be your own thing. Maybe you can do and not necessarily copy things that other brands and promotions are doing, but you can take some of those and also do your own things. And, like I said, be your own entity.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I'm interested to see how the breakup goes and where that goes from here. Like, I don't really know. All right, this headline, because we were talking about it right before we started here. This is Undertaker says on Modern Wrestling, this is and I obviously don't have the whole quote. This is a quote that Wrestling News Co. shared or some bullshit. I don't need to see the flippy doos. This is from Mark Callis, as he's known. Here's my thing, Mark. And I said this. I don't believe The Undertaker would have been as big of a star if he wasn't 6'10", jumping over the ropes, doing a jumping clothesline, walking on the top rope, doing all the shit that he did that is the flippy doos. Like, he's not as big a star if he doesn't do that. So to say things like that seems so outlandish. Again, I don't have the whole, I'm not going to read this stupid thing to see, because I'm not a Taker guy. He's not my guy. So I'm not going to go out of my way to look it up. But I am going to say, like, obviously it stirs that thing. My thing with this is not only the Taker part, but all of these old heads. Oh, I may have, hold on. Oh, that's my bad. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I had this happen the other day, man. It's, sometimes my Google Media just be like, nah, dog, we're not doing that. There he is. He's back. So all these old heads, right? The guys that are retired and all that stuff, like, they say these most off the wall shit. Do you think, first off, give me your thoughts on Taker, but then second, do you think that these old heads do this because they think controversy, they want to stay relevant? Do you think that that's why they do that?
Um, I'll answer the second part of that question first. I think depending on who it is, honestly. With the Undertaker, I really don't think that there is anything that he needs to say to ever remain relevant. I think that's
Yeah.
just, Undertaker is Undertaker. It's
So it's
kind
just
of
him
like,
having a point in general.
exactly. Some of these other guys, I definitely, would say that, yeah, hey, they're still trying to, stay in that spotlight, trying to get the headline themselves. But I feel like people like Taker, I feel like there's nothing that they need to say, in that regard. But as far as Undertaker, man, I do agree with, some of those big spots that he did, like the what was it, walking the top rope, or the dive over the top. That was some of his high spots, and those were
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are you going to say shit like that? Like, I just think it's so off the wall.
Yeah, and I mean, walking the top rope, I wouldn't, necessarily say is as much of a, a high risk or flip type move like the over the top one is.
Sure.
But he's got to also realize, you want to be, like this industry is wanting to be a sport. It's been labeled as sports entertainment for many, many years. And look at all these other leagues, NFL, NBA, MLB, everything is evolving.
Yeah, athleticism wise.
Exactly. The game's evolving, the athletes are evolving, and
that's a great way to put it.
Your brand and your industry wants to be in that sports entertainment, and the first word there is sport. Yeah. And that stuff evolves and changes over the years, and if that's what it's changed and evolved into, you kind of got to bear with it, sure, and kind of suck it up and accept it.
Yeah, I often wonder if like San Martino would have said the same thing to them, like, oh, you don't need all these suplexes and all this other shit, when San Martino was in cage matches doing crazy shit and all types of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, what are we, like, I understand you have an opinion just like we do. My thing is like, it just seems like you're taking away from other wrestlers for no reason. Like, you're just shitting on other wrestlers for no reason. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm not shitting on Paul Skeens for throwing 100-mile-an-hour just because Greg Maddux didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like the sport part of it. Like, no one's shitting on Aaron Rodgers for throwing for 4,000 yards just because Staubach didn't. Like, there's just this like gap of, I just don't quite understand it. Like, I like the analysis part of it and having a discussion. Like, I get that part of it, but like, it's these wild takes that are like, they don't need to be doing that. It's like, maybe they fucking like it, and maybe we enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It seems so odd, but that was what the argument was with Miguel in the chat. The wrestling chat, I did take 2 weeks off from the wrestling chat as well. Obviously, I removed because I wanted to just immerse myself in Italy and take it all in. So when I came back with a vengeance. I came back swinging. And obviously, all in this weekend, I'm going to be swinging hard. So...
Well, and something else, man, to before we move off of that is like, man, if you're Undertaker, you weren't doing those moves, and how can you hate on somebody, even if it's not something that you agree with? Like, that stuff is impressive, and he wouldn't even be able to do half of that. So, I mean, you got to give some of those guys some credit.
Yeah, I always thought that he like evolved with the game, right? Like, he's one of the ones that like knows ball. Like, I'm not a Taker guy, and I give Mario and Fred and all them a hard time about it, but like, he obviously is a mega star, right? Like a top 5 all time. And like, he evolved with the game. Like, he started doing the MMA gimmick thing, right? We did the gates of whatever his finisher was, that gates of hell, the choke thing, the triangle choke deal. Like, he evolved over time. He became different gimmick after different gimmick. And like, so that's where I'm like, damn, you really shitting on, like, you're one of the like, I don't understand. Like, this seems so odd for him to just like be out of pocket. Again, I don't know the whole quote. I'm just using that as an example of these old heads, like, shitting on stuff because they don't like the way the game, they don't like that they can't hang anymore. So,
right. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, that's the headlines. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on we could talk about, but we're just getting caught up. Up next, Saturday night's main event is this weekend. First off, let me know while I'm looking up the card, what are your thoughts on the counter programming debate? Is it counter programming, or is it just WWE doing WWE?
Man, I think it's definitely counter programming for sure. I mean, you don't hold two events and you're trying to make, of course, a notable star from the past Goldberg. You're trying to attract some casual eyes with that.
Yep.
And you're also, you're trying to build up this second time in history, like the women's pay-per-view Evolution. That's a big thing going on this weekend.
Yeah.
But I really don't. And was the decision made for Tony Khan and them to start All In at 2:00 after the Saturday night's announcement?
Yes and no. I think there was a little bit of I think they moved it up for sure, but it may have been moved actually to reach the overseas people to see it at the same time with Amazon. Because when they announced the move, they announced the Amazon Prime deal at the same time. I'm pretty sure it's like in the same boat. So that may have been a big, because if not, if they started at 7, that's 2:00 in the morning in Europe and you're further across. So like, there's probably a little bit of that like added into it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Obviously, a little bit of it. They're like, okay, WWE's gonna be on that bullshit. And look, here's my thing. You're not gonna sit here and convince me that they're not counter programming on purpose. You're just not. I'm not of the thought that like they don't listen, because I know Triple H is different than Vince McMahon. Triple H is a different person in the sense of like, he obviously watches the other shit, or he wouldn't have known who any of those guys were for NXT. You know what I'm saying? Vince McMahon wasn't actively watching Ring of Honor. He didn't sign Daniel Bryan for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Triple H is one of those guys who knows what's going on. So I do believe it's like 100% counter programming, and that's like whatever it is, what it is. But I think All In is such a big deal that it shouldn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, All In is the thing, and I think you're going to get the fans that you're going to get. I think it actually hurts WWE from a real-time ratings perspective, because you're going to miss out on 20,000 people that are watching live at the stadium. We're not going to turn on. I'm not going to be able to watch Peacock until I get out of the stadium. You know what I'm saying? Then you're talking about 100 and some thousand plus that are going to buy the pay-per-view, right? I mean, they've done over 100K each the last 3 or 4 or 5 pay-per-views or whatever. So you're missing out on those people, because those people aren't going to switch right away. They've watched wrestling for 5 hours. I don't know if they're going to watch wrestling for another 3 hours. Like,
absolutely.
To me, it seems odd. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of of course, the whole thing at 2:00 for me, I'm like, man, why? Like, I feel like that's personally going to hurt AEW a little bit, because like, man, it's 2:00 on a Saturday during the middle of summer.
Yeah.
People on vacation, people out doing shit. I feel like that's going to hurt them a little bit.
Sure. But
at the same time, the people that the fans of AEW, the hardcore wrestling fans, they're going to tune in regardless. And like you said, there's definitely such thing as fatigue for anything. And once you sit there and you watch,
everybody's already fatigued watching an AEW event because it's 5 hours of wrestling. You're going to be fatigued. I watch wrestling a lot, more than any of my friends. I watch more wrestling than anybody, I would say, like actual wrestling. And I would say that I will 100% be fatigued by the end of it.
Right. And I think what something else that they've kind of booked themselves and kind of into a corner of is, I think what's going to happen is I really don't know a whole lot of the rest of the card for Saturday Night Main Event, but I think a lot of people are just going to skip and they're going to watch Goldberg Gunther. And I think that's probably all that they're going to get.
Yeah.
So, that'll be interesting to see. Like you said, the real-time viewers, people are probably going to go back and rewatch a lot of it.
Sure. Well, let's get into Saturday night's main event. First up is Seth Rollins versus LA Knight. Who you got?
Man, that's kind of been an interesting thing, man, is with LA Knight just kind of popping in and out of nowhere. And they've really got the whole the whole tentacle effect on the booking right now, where it's like
which I do appreciate, because everybody's involved with the top guy, which I like, right?
Right. And they it's probably something that they should have kind of always done, because as far as like injuries happen, then you got to scramble and go in a different route. But I definitely think Seth wins. I don't think that,
100%.
With him getting the Money in the Bank, I don't think they're going to put over LA Knight.
Yeah, I think so too. There might be some sort of smudge finish, but LA Knight just can't get a win. I mean, when he needs it. Yeah. So he's I'm going Seth Rollins as well. Okay, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Okay. Why?
Yeah. Yeah, and that was like I'm saying, man, like
I
this
love
card.
Trish Stratus more than anything. Like that is my childhood crush. Like Trish, right? Her and Sable, but why? What are we doing? Like, who's this for? The sickos? I mean, I'm here for it, but like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not saying that you gotta like completely alienate the women talent off of Saturday night's main event, but like you guys have an all women's pay-per-view the following night. Like, why not put that on there?
The same
But
with Rhea and Io.
yeah, exactly. And to go back to that fatigue, after people are watching AEW for 5 hours, they're not going to want to, probably see a pointless match like that.
Yeah, I'm going Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Io and Rio, like you said. Here's the thing. I believe in equality 100%. I think that the women's deserve a lot more time than they're getting most of the time. However, I don't believe that you should put two of your championship title matches the night before you have a women's pay-per-view.
Terrible idea.
I just don't. Yes, you're going to reach more fans because it's on broadcast television. I get that. But do a segment or some other bullshit that y'all always do during the week. What's the difference? Like, what are we doing here? It's Saturday night's main event. Have a tag match or some shit. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, if I was... Okay, this is strictly from a business perspective, because from my perspective, I love wrestling. I'm not judging how they're booking. For me, it's wrestling. I don't care. But, like, from a other perspective, from, like, a business perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, was my point.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, because you got, like you said, your two top champions, your women champions on the show the night before the all women's pay-per-view. And it's like, if you want to, you're trying to get as many eyes on that pay-per-view as you can. Everybody like in the background kind of knows that, like all women's event might struggle, whatever. But at the same time, put your big stars, your champions on that show, and that's going to help.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, dude, there are a million other ways that could have went. Io and Rhea, who you picking there?
I think I'm gonna go with Io. I really don't know where they're going. I can't
imagine them changing a title the night before a women's pay-per-view event. I just can't.
Yeah, and the women's world heavyweight belt, like right now, it's just kind of like lost in the shuffle, and there's really not much
Io
of a direction.
Gets the short end of the stick there because they've put all the emphasis on the women in the IC match, they put a lot of emphasis on Becky and Bayley in it, which I don't know why. And they're putting a lot of emphasis, obviously, on the Rhea, Liv, and Roxanne thing, too. So, like, there's not a lot of emphasis on Io, and, like, maybe she feels, like, taken aback by that, too, which I think they've kind of played into that a little bit, which is fair. She deserves it because she's a stud, right? So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do there. But and then last match on Saturday night's main event, obviously, Gunther and Goldberg. So, who you picking? It's in Atlanta.
Man,
not in the
like
Georgia.
I said,
it's not in the Georgia Dome. It's not in the Mercedes-Benz Arena. I think it's in State Farm because, Beyonce's across the street. I don't know if you know this. It's another thing affecting Atlanta. Beyonce is across the street at Mercedes-Benz, okay? And then next week is the All-Star break in Atlanta for baseball. They got a lot of shit going on in Atlanta right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be, I'm not saying the crossover, but from a business perspective, there's a lot of shit going on. Like, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, no. Man, that's kind of interesting that Beyonce's across the street or across town or wherever. That also kind of makes me think of that counter promoting thing, like you're telling me you're going to book a show in the same city where Beyonce is probably going to sell out a stadium right across the road. And, there's obviously strategic reasons why they did that. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those guys in AEW or that came from AEW, especially Cody Rhodes, was telling the upper people there, like, hey, All In is their WrestleMania. They're doing it in the States. We need to do something. Or, I'm giving you guys that information.
Yeah.
Do what you will. But I think Gunther's definitely going to win, man. I don't see Goldberg sticking around. He's definitely, a childhood guy for me, but, I'm kind of over it at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would honestly, WWE does some dumb shit. I think Goldberg's going to win.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I think he loses it at SummerSlam, but I think he wins. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, and what's kind of crazy, everybody, of course, online, and then he's got the Goldberg Last Ride shirt or whatever, and everybody was talking prior to him coming back about like a retirement match, but nothing has been said about, this is Goldberg's retirement match. So that kind of does scare me and lead me to believe that, he might be hanging around for one or two more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it, where I'm like, oh, God. It's funny. One more thing about the Saturday counter programming, too. The NXT event, is at the same time as All In. Okay. One of the main matches is Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page. And I was like, damn, we have lost the plot here, my guys. I'm not knocking either one of them. It's a weird, what a direct counter program to that. You know what I mean?
You say that, they're starting to be a little bit on the nose with it, which is like, man, you can't hide it at this point.
Yeah. Well, Saturday night's main event is happening, obviously Saturday on Peacock, and NBC if you get NBC. Next, we're going to talk about it. Evolution 2, obviously we've alluded to it a little bit. I don't know. Oh, I do actually have the match card here. Let's see. I'll just ask before we do the pick 'em, and we're only going to pick the main ones. Are you excited for it at all? Will you watch it? Do you think you'll watch it live? Or is it like maybe you'll tune into the clips?
I'll probably just check the clips out, man, especially with, the main women, the champions on Saturday night's main event. At this point, I kind of feel like not to be that way, but like kind of like what's left at this point, when you got your two main champions on the show the night before.
I just now realized they may be off. Okay, we may have been wrong. I don't actually know. Okay. Now I see. You know what? The women's matches are on the main one. Okay, because that would have been silly. So I ignore our last. Okay,
makes sense.
I just now because now I see it. So Miguel, when he put this together, didn't do it in order. I thought they were in order. The other matches on Saturday night's main event are not Rio and Ia. That's okay. That makes way more sense because I was like, what are we doing? And Tiffany and Trish, that might be on Saturday nights. I don't know, but that would have been kind of odd if it was. But the other matches on Saturday night's main event are Solo and Jimmy for the United States title and Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. What?
Yeah. Like I said, man, people are probably gonna catch that Gunther Goldberg match, and that'll be it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's my bad. I apologize for the last 15 minutes. If you made it this far, we were like, this guy's an idiot. Now you know why, because I was reading this off of Miguel's pick'em here. So Miguel, this is on you. All right, women's matches then. Becky Lynch, Lyra, and Bayley. Who you got winning that one, and are you excited?
Probably. I'm thinking Becky is going to hang on to it. I think it'll probably be a pretty good match. Am I excited? I can't say that, I'm super thrilled for it, but I do think it'll probably be probably one of the better matches on the card, probably wrestling-wise.
God, I am so over Becky Lynch. How can Seth be so good and she be so terrible? I just don't. I can't. I hate it so much. I do think Becky retains, though. Actually, if I'm being honest, I think Bayley wins. But I think they're going to do something Becky and Bayley at SummerSlam, so I'm going to say Becky. All right. Let me go back to this other women's here. This one I'm interested in. Who wins the no-holds-barred match, Jade Cargill or Naomi?
That's actually going to be a damn good match. I really like what they've done.
Man. I love what they did with them.
Same, yeah, especially with Naomi. Everybody kind of expected a lot out of Jade coming from an undefeated streak, being a star in AEW, expecting her to be that star as soon as she got to WWE. But honestly, I really think that the stuff that Naomi is kind of has done and turned herself around, I think has been more impressive than anything Jade's done since she's been there.
100%.
But I think Jade will definitely win. They just gave her, she's queen of the ring. Definitely don't see her dropping
she gets a world title match. So what I think she beats Naomi. She wins the world title at SummerSlam, and then Naomi cashes in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam.
You think Naomi will get it, or she'll
I
get
think
beat?
she probably might lose it, but it'll be cool to see the cash in either way.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see, obviously, the women's event. Now that I look at this correctly, I feel so bad. The matches they're interesting matchups. They've got some cool ones. They obviously have the women's battle royal, which I think is like kind of cool because it's a bunch of different people. And the winner, though, gets a championship match at Clash in Paris. So
Okay, so it's got a little bit of a reason behind it.
1,000%. And I think they're gonna build someone new. I don't think they're gonna go Nikki Bella. I really don't. I do think they're gonna give someone new who deserves it a chance in Paris. So, what say you? What do you think? Is it gonna be a established star or one of the newer people?
I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it was somebody that's established, but I would definitely like somebody new, somebody fresh. I mean, for the love of God, if Charlotte Flair isn't in another match, she'll probably win. So there that'll be.
Yeah, she's in the women's tag match with Alexa Bliss.
Okay. Awesome. Thank God.
Yeah.
So now I don't know, man. I do think somebody established will win though.
Did you happen to see, while we're talking about this, Fightful finally posted something worth a shit, and they said, not that I like the Fightful guys, I just don't like SRS, but they posted the amount of like comments they like used, I guess an AI bot or something ran through the amount of tweets towards like 20 or 15 wrestlers, and the number one most hated is Charlotte Flair. She gets the most negative comments on Twitter. I was like, that's really terrible. Like, as a person, she's probably just like a normal ass person. Yeah. Obviously, her Players Tribune thing just came out too, like how I wake up every day. How am I going to be Charlotte Flair today? Which is really good. I read through it. It's really interesting. It's sad. She was like kind of rocked by the whole divorce thing and how that's all turned out, and then Tiffany calling it out. And I think that I think also she brings it up. There's probably a little bit of it where like she takes responsibility, obviously, in the article and things like that. So it was interesting to read because it's a good outlook. That's the thing, man. I'm never gonna like get on the internet and like shit on someone that I wouldn't tell them. Like, obviously, we're talking about characters. I don't know any of these people by their people. We're only talking about their on-screen characters. I would never say a bad thing about these people, about them. Like, I don't know, as characters, it is what it is. Like, the same reason people be like, hey, your music's not that good. When I was doing that, like, good. I appreciate the candid, argument. It's the same thing. Like, we're talking about the character on screen. These people that wrestle, like, all of them are the human beings. I don't know why these people would do that. And the internet is such a weird place. So I saw that today, and that made me think of that when you said the Charlotte thing. Because, like, damn, dude, that's a lot of negative comments towards somebody.
Yeah.
For a character that they play on TV. Like, I don't understand that. Anyways, a lot of things. Like I said, I think Evolution 2, all this to say, I think Evolution will be good. I think it'll be really good. The first one was cool. I'm excited to see what they do here. Like I said, I think it's interesting counter-programming it on this weekend, but it's a different day, right? It's Sunday, so like I think it'll do pretty good for them, and I think the matches will be good. And hopefully, now that I know Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton are on Sunday, though, that should help.
Yeah, now that you run down the card, man, it definitely sounds like it should be a pretty solid event.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, that should be interesting. So, Evolution 2 Sunday on Peacock should be good. All right, man, let's get to the real heart of this thing. It is All In. I've worn my All Out 22. I was there in Chicago, which was cool. What a time with the boys, and I will reconvene with the boys this weekend. Tank, Colin, Mario, Tadon, I think he'll be there too. Casey's going with me. It's her first out-of-state wrestling event, and we're going to the convention on Friday. We're going to StarCast Friday and Saturday, then going to All In. I'm excited. I think it's going to be the best AEW pay-per-view that they've done. I think this is going to be number one. I think this is going to move to the top. And I'll tell you why. I think All In, if we look at the card here, and we're going to do the pick'em live, right? I've got a pool. So if you're listening to this tonight or tomorrow and you're interested in getting in, shoot me an email, AroundTheMatPod at Gmail. I will gladly get you in. $30 to get in, 100% payback. It's just something for us, for our friends to get together and do. So I'm trying to pull up my form here. I know I got it here somewhere. Give me 1 second so we can look at it. Sorry. While I do that, tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are, just overarching on All In. I know we talked a little bit about the beginning where you thought AEW's at highlighting right now, and I do. I think it's the most watchable TV. Like, I used to say that about NXT. It was the most digestible all day. Like, you could watch a whole episode and not be like, what am I fucking watching? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think AEW's on that path. Like, I think they're actually the most digestible watching, right now. What say you?
Yeah, no, dude, I definitely agree. And for me, it's a lot of the little things that they continue to do on like a week-to-week basis. Like last night, the Hurt Syndicate go into the locker room. They see a message on the whiteboard where Speedball and them done stole the championships, and like little shit like that they are continuing to do on a week-to-week basis. Really shows like
continuity.
Yeah. So, I think as long as they continue this, it's only going to continue to go up from here. And I think them having a big event like this in the States, I think maybe potentially would open up the door for some other things.
Yeah.
I do think that, the first All In and Wembley, I think that is like as a feel and a whole event as a whole, I think that's going to be hard to beat because just for what they did, that pretty much selling out Wembley, whatever you want to call it, selling tons of tickets.
Right. Regardless of the number, it was a shit ton.
Absolutely. Yeah. That stadium was packed. It was a damn good show. And I'm just hoping they can not duplicate it, but recreate something like that this weekend.
Yeah, man, I agree with that part of it. I think it's going to be I think it's just the reason I say I think it's going to be best. I think from a card perspective, I think this is the best. They haven't overdone it. They haven't added a shit ton of matches. It's like it's a good. Right now we're at 8, and we stay there at 8. We'll be pretty good if we could just stay at 8. I feel pretty good about it.
And I feel like for me, the best thing about this AEW pay-per-view compared to a lot of them over the years is it doesn't seem like there's any matches that are thrown together.
Exactly. There's like continuity across all of them. They all have a reason, right? Except for the patriarchy interjecting themselves for no reason.
Yeah.
Other than that, I feel like it's pretty good. What match are you most excited for before we do the pick 'em?
Of course, as a big death match guy, the Moxley and Hangman. But on top of that, it's gonna be a great match. I do feel like there's gonna be a good story told throughout the whole match, and even at the ending, it's gonna be hopefully pretty good. So I would probably say Moxley and Hangman Adam Page, and just to kind of see where because obviously World Heavyweight Championship. This is really going to show where AEW is going to, kind of be leading that into the future, the next weeks, months coming up.
Yeah, I agree 100% here. I'm going to, I'm opening this up here. I'm going to switch profiles. Which profile am I in right now? I got to switch here. I got to go to a different one.
Can I guess yours? I think I know.
You probably have mine, I would say.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Okada.
That's right.
Gotta be.
That's right. It's got to be Okada. Look, man, I as a obvious fan of their matches, yeah, dude, I'm just like such an Okada guy. It's cool. I'll tell you, I've actually never seen him wrestle in America. I went to a New Japan show when he was IWGP champion, expecting to see him, and he was not there. And so I've actually never seen him wrestle in America.
They were resting the starters, man.
Yeah, I was like, it was like it was like 60% American on that show. It was terrible, but it was cool just to see a New Japan show in America. They were trying, but yeah, dude, Okada, Omega, the Rainmaker. I hope he comes out in his old gear. I don't love his new gear as much, so I do hope that his Jazzwares figure. I do think they're going to announce a Jazzwares figure at StarCast for him, and I hope his gear is cool. So we'll see what happens, man. That is going to be, yeah, I'm obviously yoked about that. So
yeah, dude, I will say, as far as for like hardcore wrestling fans, like that match is like not to sound weird or anything, but that is like truly going to be a special match, especially for it to be in the States.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. That's where I think it's going to be like 20-some thousand plus. Like they said, 23,000 tickets have been distributed. Sorry, give me one second. I'm trying to delete that one. Okay, summary here. I'm gonna go to my other account so I can fill this out as we're doing it live. We're gonna do it here we're gonna use B00 Take 00 show. So let's do it live. B00 Take 00 show. If you guys are racing fans, that's my other podcast that we have weekly on Tuesday nights. Myself and Tyler Bohannon talk all things wrestling. So, all right, let's get into it. We're gonna start at the bottom. I thought this was good for us because I don't know who's gonna be in the men's casino gauntlet or the women's casino gauntlet, right? So what I did was a 5-point bonus for those. It's a write-in only. You can pick whoever you want. It's 5-point bonus, right? Just because it's like I don't want to give options. I think you should have to just like write in and you can guess anybody because you really don't know. So we're gonna start with the women's casino gauntlet. I am picking Megan Bain.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that was one that, you know, I really didn't have a clue on anybody, but yeah, they're pretty high up on Megan Bain, and it seems like, I don't know if you feel the same way, but it seems like AEW kind of gets hyper fixated on like the women's wrestlers. Yeah. It's like they were like that with Toni Storm for a while, and then they got like that with Mariah.
Yeah, they do that thing where they like overbearing.
It's absolutely.
Like,
well, of course, it started with, of course, with Britt Baker, and now it's kind of course, led into this Megan Bain thing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, dude, she's a beast. So.
I think they do a good job with the women once they finally settled that, but I do agree 100% they overdo it sometimes. They've got a ton right now with Tekla, Queen Aminata, Megan Bain. Penelope Ford's doing a great job with Megan Bain. You still have got what's the House of Black chick. She looks like Livy Dunn to me.
Hart.
Yeah, Julia Hart. Thank you, Julia Hart.
Yeah, Julia Hart.
Like they have a ton of people, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like honestly, the other surprise is it wouldn't surprise me if Britt Baker comes out.
Yeah, and that was something else.
And they just they just talk his shit to everybody, get everybody riled up, and then she shows up. Might be kind of cool.
That was something else that I was thinking a lot of because there's been a lot of stuff about, you know, of course, going around about her not wanting to be in AEW, wanting to leave, and then none of that was true. So right. I think they might pull a swerve with her coming back as well. But if she doesn't come back to win, Megan Bain's definitely going to take it.
I'm putting Megan Bain. But all right, men's casino gauntlet. I think this one is very important. They've only announced 3 people: Mark Briscoe, MJF, and then they announced Mystico. Because they announced Mystico, my first thought was, before they announced Mystico, I thought he was going to come back and cost MJF. That was my thing because they've got that feud going in CMLL, which is pretty intense. It's pretty cool, and it's like a good thing for MJF right now before MJF obviously gets right back in the world title thing. I think that's what's going to happen. So for me, I'm like, okay, here's what I think. So that's kind of what I thought. So I think it's either going to be Darby Allin or if I don't know. I got to look to see if Orange Cassidy can come back. So I'm not going to answer this question yet. I'm going to look to see what Orange Cassidy's injury timeline is. I do think Darby Allin, or the other option is Bryan Danielson comes back and wins, and then he faces Moxley later on that night.
Oh man, that would be interesting. But yeah, dude, I would think that I'm thinking Darby probably is going to come back. I've been seeing a lot of him recently doing things here and there. He looks like he's, you know, probably ready to go.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's one of those guys too that he stays away too long. He gets that itch. He wants to come back. He needs to come back. And just based off of, you know, how like, you know, vulnerable he's been in like some of his promos, I feel like that's really given Darby a lot of direction.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, he might probably try to slip back in and, you know, put him in the title run. He hasn't really been there very much.
I also don't care. I'm not a Darby Allin guy, so I mean, he's whatever. Without Sting, I just don't care as much.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I feel like, of course, there's 2 completely different styles, but I feel like at some point you do kind of got to give him the Rey Mysterio treatment, you know, give the little guy the belt, the one, you know, the workhorse.
Eventually he's got to win it, right? For sure.
Yeah. And I mean, he's, you know, he's so over, you know, with the crowd, with the younger kids that go to those shows. So, you know, eventually I think they'll have to give it to him, and All In might be it. Not give him the belt at All In, but as far as winning that,
winning that battle royal, him coming back. Do you think we see any other surprises? I think Jericho shows up too.
That'd be interesting. I did see where Fozzy actually just got done touring.
Yeah, he's been
some
chilling,
photos.
waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, some photos have been going around. Jericho looking pretty damn lean, so I think he'll probably show back up at some point. If not all in, probably all out.
Okay.
I guess what would that be, September?
Yeah, September in Toronto.
Yeah, so I think he'll be back pretty soon though.
Okay. All right, Young Bucks versus Osprey and Swerve. If EVP titles are on the line, if the Young Bucks lose, and if Osprey and Swerve lose, they can't challenge for the title for 1 year.
Man, I think that I don't think that you're gonna book your two of your biggest stars in a
They
corner
already
like
did
that.
it once with Cody, right? And it didn't work out.
Exactly.
So.
And I was actually at that show where
Yeah.
they threw the towel in for him.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But I don't think they do that again. Of course, the EVP thing that might go away on screen, but behind the scenes, that's still going to be the same. So it really isn't much for the Young Bucks to lose.
Yeah.
So I do think Osprey and Swerve take it.
Same.
Yeah.
I've got the most confidence on that one. I put 6 for that. So, all right. Hurt Syndicate, Jet Speed, and the Patriarchy for the World Tag Team titles.
I don't think you get it. I don't think you take them off of the Hurt Syndicate, man. They're crushing it right now.
Agreed.
Of course, MVP is the mouthpiece. I mean, he could go out there and talk forever and ever and ever, and people don't get bored of him. So I mean, there's no sense in taking it off of him this soon. And
Agreed.
I like Jet Speed. My Speedball and Jet. I mean, they're good, but I don't see them taking the tag titles. Christian and Nick Wayne, I think that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready to break up, and I think this is when it happens.
Yeah, and I do think that I think we'll see how well and what Nick Wayne has really learned from Christian. Once they do split up, he goes on his own. He's not attached to them anymore.
Right.
And I think he might even kind of develop into one of those breakout stars, kind of like Kyle Fletcher did real quick.
Yeah, if he can talk, if he can figure out how to talk, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I went Hurt Syndicate too. I'm not super confident only because it's tag titles, so they always, they're not. I don't know what they did, so I only put 2 on that one.
Yeah, they do. AEW kind of does some strange stuff sometimes. Titles.
Yeah. Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Cole for the TNT Championship. I picked Kyle Fletcher. I think he finally gets over the hump here, dude. Don Callis just I felt like the Don Callis family should just destroy everybody and they should get all the titles. Just because, one, they have Don Callis as a mouthpiece and they should, run roughshod for 6 months over everything. But they haven't done that. They lose all the time. I don't understand it. But anyway, I'm picking Kyle Fletcher and I gave that 5. What say you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kyle Fletcher too. I think that, they're building him up. He's continuing to rise. And, Adam Cole, he's over regardless. I mean, he's a veteran. He's there to help the young guys I won't say put over the young guys, but he's there to help elevate them and make them better. And I think this is where, he helps out Kyle Fletcher a little bit. He gets, the TNT title. And, at that point, maybe here in 6 months, a year, maybe might be in the contendership for the heavyweight title.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, obviously Fletcher, I believe, is just the breakout star that they've done a great job with. I don't know that I ever thought he was going to be what he is right now as the proto star, especially with Proto Shida. I thought that's a great tag team with him and Takeshita. I just think that they've got heel tag team champions right now anyway, so they can't do anything. But
yeah, dude, I think that and I think it really kind of hit a lot of people the same time it did for me. That promo that he cut on Osprey when he was, right there at the camera,
dude,
saying,
1,000%.
I'm nothing like you. And then it was I don't think I've ever, I mean, of course you got the Stone Cold promo, but I don't think I can ever really remember a time where one specific promo got someone over the hump like that.
1,000%.
And to, that quickly
Stardom.
Exactly. So it's been really cool to watch him come up.
Yeah, I think the Don Callis family collects a few belts this weekend because I think that Takeshita beats Bandito on Friday, Ring of Honor World title, which is cool for Takeshita. And then having Fletcher with the TNT title, maybe you get a few other, maybe the trios belts for Alexander and Lance Archer, and they have one other guy in Don Callis family. Who's the 5th one? Don't they have somebody else?
There's isn't it Brian Cage?
Yeah.
Wasn't he tagging Lance Archer for a while?
Yeah. So they got some folks over there.
But yeah, I mean, like, those guys there, you like everybody you just named off is like, they're big time guys, and they're losing,
Dude,
a
the
lot.
thing is with Cage cannot talk, and neither can Lance. So like you have to have Don Callis. And then it's like you have so many other big guys already that can work. Brody King and Beast Mordos is a bigger guy. Obviously, he's not big, but like they have so many guys that it's like it's hard. Where are you going to put Lance and Brian Cage, and where do they fit in, and like all that stuff.
Well, and something that also makes me think about is, in the land of AEW where, everybody, not everybody, but there's a lot of smaller talent. There's a lot, there's not the anywhere from 6'5" to like 7 foot guys. And you got two of your biggest guys in a tag team, and, they say they go up against, someone like Knight and Speedball. And it's like, you got to try to make it a little bit believable, that those guys can beat them.
Yeah, I do think Kevin Knight's going to be a star, speaking of Speedball, and I think Kevin Knight's incredible, so I'm excited to see what he does if he gets over that hump as well. Okay, here's the big one for me. Omega versus Okada for the AEW Unified Championship now, the Continental title and the International title. Who you got here?
Oh man, I think, man, wouldn't it be awesome to go to a time limit draw? But I don't know if that's
60-minute time limit draw, just like hammering it out, IWGP style. I love it. Kings Road,
absolutely. But no, I think that they'll give. I don't know, man. This one's tough, dude. I want Omega to win. I'm more of an Omega guy than Okada, but I feel like that they would probably want to push Okada more than Kenny at this point. I don't know why. I just kind of have a feeling. And something I also saw too is Tony Khan said they're not retiring either of those belts. So that's some shit. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't love that, but that's a song. I mean, we can talk about the title thing.
I thought it
was
for
another
like
time.
You said one unified belt, and that was it.
Well, I thought it said that he was retiring one in the sense of like they were still going to do the Continental Classic. It just wasn't going to be the title
for like
stuff.
A belt.
Yeah, neither was the International. But again, that's a whole different animal with the title belt thing. I went Okada, and I gave that 4 because that's my guy. Rainmaker all day, every day. Spinning tombstone, the money clip, the drop kick. Yeah, dude, it's going to rain. I can't wait. So shout out to Okada. All right, here's a big one too. Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné for the AEW Women's World Championship.
Man, I'll just start off by saying I of course watched Dynamite last night, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I personally think, to me, Mercedes is probably the cringiest wrestler that has ever stepped foot in a ring to me. Like anytime,
when she's on the mic, you mean, or just like in general?
No, like when she's on the mic cutting press. Now, as far as her matches, she has some damn good matches. Don't get me wrong.
You just mean like talk, like getting it. I gotcha.
Yeah, like the fake laughing, the facial expressions, it's just all super cringe for me.
I do wish she was more authentic when she talks, and it's almost like she's using a fake voice to sound. And maybe that's her goal because she's a heel. She just wants to sound like that. Like that might be part of it. Yeah. Because I agree, dude. It's like, oh my God, this is brutal.
Yeah. And last night when I was watching, man, it was something that kind of stuck out to me that you've mentioned a lot of times. It really reminded me, because there's been some promos where she'll kind of go back and forth to where she, it sounds like it's her and not, someone that like she's acting like or trying to be. It reminds me a lot of how Logan Paul's promos sound.
So annoying.
And of course, me being a huge Tony Storm fan, I would never pick against her. So I'm gonna go Tony.
I am also going Tony. I'm giving that. What'd I give that one? That's 3 points I gave to Tony. I just think that like I never pictured Tony getting this gimmick over, and then like she's become a star in 2 years. Doing it. It's unbelievable. So yeah, man, I'm going Tony. I do think Mercedes finally loses one here. just
And
because
a couple of things for me about this match is like, if you do have Tony win, it's kind of strange that they've, let Mercedes do this belt collecting thing up into the big one, as they're calling it. And that's kind of weird to me. And as I was watching last night, I was thinking, as far as like Tony Storm, I would not be upset by any means if she, pulled a Roman Reigns and kept the belt for, thousands of days,
Sure.
Everything she's been in, up to this point, especially with the timeless gimmick. I mean, it's been gold, and she's helped elevate, So
dude, she
single-handedly
single-handedly got Mariah May a job in NXT.
Absolutely.
Without Tony Storm, I'm not saying that Mariah's not a star, but like without Tony Storm, that doesn't happen. Like you don't become the most sought after free agent without that. I just whatever,
so I mean, let Tony can keep the belt for 5,000 days, man, and get all the women over that come through the door, and I would be happy.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens with Tony. I think, like I said, this is going to be a great match. It's going to be good. I'm excited for both of them. And I liked last night's thing because Tony's just a better promo than most of the women. Like she's an incredible job on the microphone. So, all right, Texas Death Match, Jon Moxley, Hangman Page. Who you going with?
I think I'm going to go with. Unfortunately, man, I think I'm going to go with Moxley. I don't think that. I don't think that Tony is gonna.
You don't think they're gonna send us home happy?
I don't think so, man. And I hate to hear that, and I hate to say that, but I do feel like that for some part of me, I do feel like that the Death Riders is gonna keep going on. What they do from here, I don't know. Maybe Danielson will come out. That would be sick.
But I do have to do something crazy here.
Yeah, dude. And so I saw something recently that was kind of breaking down what, this person thought the match would be like. And they were comparing it a lot to the Bloodline Rules match with Cody and Roman at WrestleMania 40. Okay. Saying, of course, you got the ops that are going to come in and help Hangman out. You got, Claudio, Yuta, and all them that are going to help, Moxley out. And I feel like it's going to be a lot of bullshit, but exciting bullshit, hopefully.
Sure.
I do think, unfortunately, I think Moxley's going to take it, man.
Nah, man. I think Hangman Page, and I think they bury... Like I said, if Hangman doesn't win, they're going to do something else crazy. There's no way Moxley walks out of Texas with that title.
Man, I sure hope not.
There's no way. Don't get me wrong. He has turned that whole thing around. I mean, like, it's made it... it's watchable. It is very good. And I'm excited about where it's come from, and I like that they're going to do the Smaj. It's obviously going to be Smaj. They're going to Claudio's coming out, Marina's coming out, Wheeler, Yuta's coming out. Pac is still hurt, I think, so like he can't come out. But I think Hangman Page wins. I did give it a 1 point though. I'm not like super confident, but I do think he's going to win. So yeah, man, we're that's it, dude. That's the event. I did want to say one thing. Speaking of his comeback, also, I meant to tell you this. Speaking of Don Callis' family, and I meant to mention this. When I was going to Italy, we were in Atlanta waiting for our plane to Rome. And none other going on his honeymoon at the same time was Trent Beretta. Trenty
no shit.
Yeah, man. I was going to say something to him, but I was like, he's obviously going on his honeymoon. I didn't want to be weird. And then he showed up on Dynamite like a week plus later or whatever, and he was in Italy at the same time. So, yeah, he flew, did the whole thing. I didn't say anything, obviously. I didn't want to be rude, but shout out to Trenty Locks sharing. We were on the same honeymoon path. I should have said something, but I didn't.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so thought that was cool. But, yeah, man, All In is this weekend. I am very excited. I leave tomorrow, Friday. Like I said, I'm going to StarCast. I'm going to miss the Okada meet and greet. I'm not a big picture guy with wrestlers. I was never – I love taking pictures with people who said they were fans of my music. I think it's like the coolest thing ever. However, me being a fan, I can't do it. I just don't have it in me. I don't know why. So I'm not going to do the Okada thing because also he's not doing an auto. If he was doing an auto, I probably would take my Super 7 New Japan one just because it would be cool to have him sign that auto for that. But so, yeah, man, I'm excited for All In. I will be there. Like I said, Dallas is calling my name. Another big event in Dallas, and we're excited. Gonna hang out with some friends I've got in Dallas as well, and we're gonna meet up with some of the boys, which should be good. And I don't know, man. That's about it. Anything you want to leave us with here on the show?
I don't think so, man. I'm just super excited for the weekend. Super excited for All In. We'll see about Saturday night's main event. See what I got left in me for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I probably won't watch that, but I will watch Evolution on the plane.
Yeah. If I can get through, man, 9-10 hours of wrestling on Saturday, hey, we're gonna give it a shot.
I love that. Well, man, thank you for joining us again. Welcome back. It is season 3 here on Around the Mat Pod. We will be back next week, recapping all of that wrestling that just transpired, getting ready for SummerSlam coming up in a few weeks. A lot of things happen. It's the summer, baby, and pro wrestling is hot as ever. So join us here. Thank you again. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on all social medias. Leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. Let us know that you're watching. We appreciate you all. Until next time, when we go around